Hey guys, it's Robin, and you're listening to the Live Life Balance podcast. My heart is full knowing that you're here today, prioritizing you and your wellness. This podcast is for women looking for an authentic, supportive community to learn about wellness from all angles, and who want to just feel their best. I'll be your guide, pointing you to ideas and tools that you can experiment with to find what works for you, because we all bring different experiences and knowledge to the table. No pun intended. Health is not a one-size-fits-all. By feeling our best, we're able to show up in our purpose, and that allows us to live the most joyful life, even in the most challenging times. Together, we're going to grow by learning to align ourselves and taking some simple, actionable steps that feel right for you. We're going to talk about self-care. We'll talk about nutrition, daily toxins. We'll talk food swaps. We'll definitely be talking about mindset and reframing our thoughts because it's so important. I hope that you leave today feeling more empowered and at ease. And I hope that you can take one or two small steps to be able to create the you that you want to be. Are you ready for all the possibilities? If you said yes, say, I am ready. Now let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to Live Life Balance podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know that we are taking a little break between season 1 and 2, but I have so many just little things that I thought I wanted to put out there. So I'm going to be doing a few little mini episodes that are going to pop up here and there between the two seasons. The new season is going to be starting in October. So until then, you may see 1 or 2 or 3 little mini episodes that are popping up. So I hope that you enjoy this mini episode on our mind. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy. I wanted to talk about our minds. Over the last few weeks, I've been doing a lot of thinking about our minds, and it's been interesting. I feel like most of us walk around in a trance, right? We walk around with the same day-to-day thoughts. We wake up with the same thoughts. We can go to bed with the same thoughts. We have the same thoughts, as we go into meetings or as we go into our movement that we're trying to fulfill, or, whatever it is that you're doing on a daily basis. Most of us walk around in a trance. And so, I talk to a lot of people about the word meditate and meditation, and a lot of people have negative feelings towards it, but I wanted to kind of spin it in a different way. And I guess for me, meditation means, stepping out of that trance and becoming present. So and there's thousands of different kinds of meditations. So if you've ever tried to meditate and you don't find success, don't get discouraged. Just look for different things. For myself, I like visualization meditations because it helps me to visualize what it is that I'm either getting or looking or changing or shifting. And so some people don't care for that. Some people like sounds. Some people, I don't know. There's many different types of meditation. So again, if you try one and it doesn't resonate with you, try something different. The point of meditation is to do just that. It is to step out of the trance of your daily busyness and to become present. And during meditation, your mind will wander, because that's what our minds do. They wander, and then we have to recognize that they're wandering and kind of pull it back to the present moment. Why is that important? Well, we create through our thoughts, right? So if we're not really having new, fresh thoughts on a daily basis because we're walking around in that trance of life, it makes it really hard for us to create new things. So we create from our thoughts, and then those thoughts turn into feelings. And once we have those feelings within our body, those feelings turn into chemicals. And then those chemicals turn into the vibration of how we carry ourselves on a daily basis. The vibrations then trend. And so everybody has an energy, whether it's a high energy, a low energy, a positive energy, a negative energy. And that all starts with the thoughts that we have. And so I felt like talking about our mind and our mindset and mindfulness and all of those things are really important. But in simple terms, I just wanted us to use like the mind as a garden as an analogy. When we think of our mind being like a garden, we're going to talk about the concepts, of witnessing what's happening in our minds, weeding what's not serving us, and then planting new seeds to create new habits, to create new thoughts, to create new feelings. So with the witnessing, practicing mindfulness to observe your thoughts without judgment. That means that you're going to become aware of your emotions that you're having, the reactions that you're having to something, and even the patterns that happen around that something. Being a witness means not shutting it off. It means to simply observe, to witness, to see what is actually happening when that thought comes up. By doing this, we can create space between our thoughts and who we are. And then by doing that, that allows us to respond to that thought more consciously rather than unconsciously, which is what happens most days as we're walking in our trance through our life. So witnessing simply just means watching what's happening, seeing what emotions you have, the reactions you have, and the patterns that you see that keep coming up with those particular thoughts that are popping up. The second thing is weeding. When you have weeds in your garden, in order for it to be a sustainable and successful garden, you would have to take the weeds out. And so that's similar to your mind. When you have a negative thought pattern and you have beliefs that just don't serve you, we have to learn to weed them. We have to learn to take them out of our mental garden, which is our brain, right? Or how do you do that though, right? So when that negative thought comes up, challenge it. Ask yourself questions, get curious. Whatever thought it is, you can ask yourself, is that actual truth? Or is it something that I have come up with as a response mechanism to whatever, the negative feeling or thought might be? So I think asking yourself if it's valid and real and making sure that it actually is versus you just having an old thought pattern pop up is super important. After you challenge yourself, if maybe it's not 100% truth, or maybe you don't want to stay stuck in that same pattern, you need to replace it with something more positive. Techniques that you can use are cognitive reframing, which if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that, I encourage you to look it up. It's basically just taking a thought and reframing it so that it brings up a different positive emotion or positive reaction or positive pattern. And this is going to take practice. It's going to take time. Just like in a garden, you pick the weeds and sometimes those weeds come back and then you have to repick them and plant something new. And so with our minds, we have to make sure that we give ourselves grace because they are going to pop. Those weeds are going to continue to pop up because we're used to having those same patterns. And so the more that we can, replace it with a different pattern or a different emotion or a different thought, the less that the weeds will pop back up. And finally, planting. When we go to plant a new garden, we have to put the seeds in the soil and then we have to water it and pick the weeds and do all the things to make sure that there's space and the soil is all good for everything to grow. So intentionally introducing positive influences into your mind might sound super basic, but it's so important. These are the things that we're going to plant. Engaging in activities that uplift you, maybe reading an inspiring book, practicing gratitude, surrounding yourself with supportive people, engaging in hobbies even that bring you joy. So these little things, although one might not understand how they're connected, they are, and they're very important. And so in order to plant the new garden, we have to have things that are positive in our life. Is it going to be always 100% every day, all day long? No. Realistically, life happens, things happen. We have things that pop up that are negative. But again, how we deal with that negative thought pattern, how we deal with that negative behavior is what dictates how our body handles it. And so again, as we learn to witness and weed and then plant something better, if we continue with that cycle and we continue nurturing our, mental garden, if you will, again, it is an ongoing process, right? We have to practice things like mindfulness and self-reflection, self-care. I talk about that all the time. Self-care is huge. If we do not have good self-care, it's hard for us to change our thought patterns. It's hard for us to make the shifts in health and wellness that we want. So remember, it's not just a quick fix. It's not just do this, this, and this, and then everything's good. This whole thing about, making our mental gardens, like our minds as a garden, making it into a healthier version, it's an ongoing process. So again, giving yourself grace as those weeds keep popping up, and then just learning to reframe and get curious and ask questions will really help for you to change like the overall consciousness that you're walking around. So you're more conscious of what you're doing rather than walking around in that trance. One of the other things that I wanted to mention was the mind-body connection. So when we give a voice to some of like our unconscious emotions, things that we're not even sure why they're there. But again, when we have the thoughts that come up, when we observe them without judgment, we get to see some of those unconscious emotions that we get and have in us. And that unconscious emotion, the brain basically creates physical symptoms. And so when we're having those unconscious emotions and then we're also having pain in our body, sometimes those, well, they always are, they are related. There are a lot of times when we have pains in our body that are not identifiable through a broken bone or a twisted ankle or a bloody nose or something that is concrete. Sometimes we can't find the answers because the answers are emotions. And so again, the whole witnessing of the thoughts that we're having and what comes up for you emotionally and your reactions you have and the patterns you see, those help to allow us to understand where those are coming from. And by doing that, we're practicing having space between the thoughts. And it helps us to identify and, kind of allow ourselves to respond again more consciously, coming from a place of understanding, coming up from a place of knowing, not just a knee-jerk reaction. So if you're someone who wakes up on a daily basis, walks around most of the day in a trance, I invite you to check out meditation, check out mindfulness, and do it in a way that works for you. Look up different types of meditation. And remember, the point of meditation is just to bring you out of unconscious trance and put you in the conscious of the now, of being present exactly where you are so that you are able to put that space between you and the thought. And again, if you're someone who's skeptical about meditation, how you use meditation is up to you. What parts of it you like, what parts of it don't work for you, take it, leave it, but use what you can and what is there to help you to basically create a garden that's, the most balanced and that works for you. So I hope today that you got something out of this little discussion on the mind. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what your thoughts are around not only just treating your mind like a garden, but the parts and pieces, in which you feel that you have under your belt, and then some of the ones that seem a little more challenging to you. Because again, we can all share our experiences and we can share what's worked and what doesn't, and that allows other people to, get different ideas and to have different tools to try. So again, if you want, we have a private Facebook page that is really a page for people who are wanting to create better wellness and better health for themselves. And they want to do it with other supportive people. I encourage you to come into that group. The link will be down below in the show notes. Please join. And remember, sharing is what helps us to become better humans. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. Bye. I loved being here with you today. I hope that you got something from today's mini episode. I'd love to hear what resonated with you. Drop a comment below, and if you feel led to, download this episode and share it with someone that you love that needs to hear this message. To stay connected, check out my Instagram and Facebook pages at Live Life Balance with Robin. join my newsletter, my blog, or even opt in for my free junk food cleanse sheet at my website, which is www.livelifebalancedwithrobin. And if you're looking to work one-on-one with someone on your health journey, check out my services page on my website too. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. It truly means a lot that you are allowing me to be on your wellness journey with you. Until next time, find peace, love, and light by breathing, being present, and allowing for all possibilities to happen.